There is one new thing about slavery. The relationship I described earlier is, in fact, universal across all time. But there's one new thing, mainly because of the explosion of the global population creating a huge supply, something like 1 billion people who are potentially enslavable, and that's the collapse in the price of human beings. Now, nothing illustrates this better than something I TiVo'd just a couple of nights ago.
All day, and volume's the best.
Oh, here we go. It's okay.
Daphne.
May Zhao there live from the trading floor. Thanks, May. Okay, lively discussion guaranteed here as always as we get macro and talk commodities. Continuing here in the studio with our guest Michael O'Donoghue, Head of Commodities at Four Continents Capital Management. And we're also joined by Brent Lawson from Lawson Frisk Securities.
Happy to be here.
Good to have you with us, Brent. Now, gentlemen, Brent, where's your money going this year?
Well, Daphne, we've been going short on gas and oil recently and casting our net just a little bit wider. We really like the human being story a lot. If you look at a long-term chart, prices are at historical lows, and yet global demand for forced labor is still real strong. So that's a scenario that we think we should be capitalizing on.
Michael, what's your take on the people story? Are you interested?
Oh, definitely. Non-voluntary labour's greatest advantage as an asset is the endless supply. We're not about to run out of people. No other commodity has that.
Daphne, if I may draw your attention to one thing, that is that private equity has been sniffing around, and that tells me that this market is about to explode. Africans and Indians, as usual, South Americans, and Eastern Europeans in particular are on our buy list.
Interesting. Michael, bottom line, what's your recommend?
We're recommending to our clients a buy and hold strategy. There's no need to play the market. There's a lot of vulnerable people out there. It's very exciting.
Exciting stuff indeed. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Please stay with us. We'll be back after this short break with further insights into this fascinating market.
Okay, don't leap up. Don't leap up. It's a spoof. It's a little something we made with MTV Europe, and they've started dropping it in between the music videos. But with no introduction. So it looks like somebody just bumped the remote. And they're like, oh, I'm on Bloomberg. Oh, what's this? Okay. But it's a wonderful illustration because were slavery legal, that's exactly what we'd be seeing. Here's the reality. 4,000 years, the average price of the average slave over the last 4,000 years in today's money has been about $40,000. In the Deep South, the average price of an average field hand before the Civil War in today's money, about $40,000. The scale on the left is in fact in tens of thousands of US dollars or in billions for the population curve. But you can see that when the population curve explosion occurred in the last 50 years, the price of human beings has absolutely collapsed. And after something like 4,000 years at $40,000 on average, the price around the world of a human being today is $90, $90. Now, what does that mean? Well, slavery's still slavery. It's still ugly and horrific, but it means that instead of being capital purchase items, which is what slaves have been through all human history, they've become disposable inputs. They've become so inexpensive that no one bothers to take, if they enslave people, to take care of them in any way. Slaves, those human beings, have become like styrofoam cups. You use them, you buy them cheaply, you use them, you crumple them up, you throw them away. Now that's a horrible sort of story. And here's one of those disposable people. This little girl didn't answer the question, do you want a job? Her mother answered it for her. And not to give her away, her mother was wrestling with how can I make a good future for my daughter? They lived in a village in Ghana. They had no school, they had no clinic. Someone came and said, we've got a great job for your daughter. She can help us sell fish down on Lake Volta. She can clean them. We can let her go to school. She had plenty to eat. The mother was caught making the devil's choice between caring for her daughter herself but giving her a better life, a choice no parent should have to make, and let her go. Now, when we found her, she was physically abused, sexually abused. She had also malnourished. They would tie stones to their ankles to drop them into the water to untangle nets. And if they got them up in time, okay. If they didn't, they drowned, and they just threw them away because the next kid was that cheap. The good news is, rescued in our rehabilitation center that we run in Ghana with all the other kids in the back there.